So today I'm bringing guys a brand new sports cards video. In today's video, we're going to be breaking down the basketball card market right now and some players that are absolutely soaring in price, and whether to invest in them, whether to invest in the hype, or whether to wait. And certain players who we believe we should invest in, we will be going over as well. But before we get into that, I did want to say this week's giveaway, as a reminder, is a 2023 Prism Draft Picks hobby box they had just released. It's about a $180 box. They're Victor Wembanyama rookies in this product. So if you guys do want a chance to go ahead and get this box as a part of our giveaway, all you have to do is subscribe, like the video, follow us on Instagram at itskanalahuja. Once you follow it on Instagram, comment the word done down below, and the winner will be announced on our private Instagram. So definitely go ahead and enter and follow the Instagram if you want a free chance at a hobby box that could contain some Victor Wembanyama rookie cards. Now, without further ado, we are going to hop right into the video. So as you guys know, the basketball season recently kicked off, and there has been a lot of hype over certain players who have, of course, come out to a strong start. And then in general, the basketball card market has been seeing a lot of volatility. Certain players going up a lot, certain players going down a lot. We have seen a lot of players who have come off to a strong start see an incredible increase in price. One first guy that comes to mind is Shay Alexander. Everyone has kind of seen a breakout year come in for Shay, but after, of course, his first game where he put up 31 points and just a pretty dominant game overall for him, we're seeing the hype continue to build up. I know Shay's expectations were sitting very, very high before the season starts, before the season started, and, they're still that high. And so you see a lot of his cards continuing to hit all-time highs. For example, his Red Prism and a PSA 9. Of course, this is just one example. It's not a staple card of his, but this was around a $200 card earlier this year, and since then, it's just continued to hit new highs. It reached 300. Now it's up to 400, so it pretty much has doubled in the course of the year, and Shay's market overall has just been super, super strong because I feel like everyone kind of had that feeling in the beginning of the year when we saw what he did last year, just had that feeling that his prices were just so undervalued. His cards were so undervalued. His Blue Prism PSA 10, this card for Luka at one point was, close to a six-figure card, probably in the mid-five figures. And for Shay Alexander, this card was around a $1,300 card. So we're starting to see a lot of people wake up. This card's over $2,000 already, and we're just seeing a lot of Shay's market really start to hit, all-time highs, which is great to see. I think, Shay is one of those guys that I personally really believe in. I've owned a lot of Shay cards. We've been recommending his cards to our members for years now, probably around almost 3 years at this point, where he's been on our radar in our weekly reports. So there is just a lot of excitement around Shay's market. Some of his cards, for example, his National Treasures, this BGS 9 recently sold for over $12,000. Not long ago, this was a $5,000-$6,000 card. So there's just a lot of increase in Shay's market. So that is definitely very exciting with basketball season underway. Another player, of course, who we got to talk about very briefly because I did make a video about Victor Wembanyama's card market in general, but Wemby's card market is, just another beast for university cards. You do not see any players, non-NBA player jersey cards sell for thousands and thousands of dollars. But Wemby's market is just on another level, and we're seeing his, preseason performances really cause a spike in his prices, which shows that there could be a lot of volatility this season in his university cards. So, for example, his Bowman University card, of course, now his Prism Draft Picks cards coming out. We're just seeing a lot of volatility. I mean, this card came out as a couple $1,000 card. It dipped all the way down to around $1,000, and now it's back up over $2,000. So we're just seeing a roller coaster ride in Wemby's card market. It's personally a little bit too risky of a market for me to be in right now, just because, of course, these are not NBA jersey cards. There's so much volatility. Certain cards, for example, is Gold Refractor Auto, was a $15,000 card. Most recently sold for $6,000. So there's just so much volatility on the upswings and the downswings. So it's just a little bit too risky for my blood. But definitely, if you can do it the right way, there is, of course, upside. It is just personally not a market I want to be in. Now, we do see a lot of other players, such as Jonathan Kuminga, had a super strong preseason. His cards started to jump a little bit. And we're seeing a lot of just overall, I think with players who could potentially be joining new teams, players such as James Harden that likely before the trade deadline are going to be moved to a new team, we're seeing a lot of upswings in their cards because, of course, if Harden ends up on a championship team, I know we've said this a lot, I'm personally not a buyer in James Harden's market, but of course there are a lot of people who could get excited if he joins a contending team such as the Los Angeles Clippers. I personally think there's a little bit too much risk in Harden's card market, just given his past with, sitting out games and overall instability in his card market. So I'm personally not a buyer, but I think Harden's market is going to start to heat up as, trade rumors continue. I know it's continued for a while. The risk, of course, is that, if Harden somehow doesn't have a team willing to trade up for him and and his team, pretty much just the Sixers, kind of sit on him and let him kind of sit out for some time before trading him, that could be a little bit of an uncertain time for his market. But I think if he does end up getting traded sooner than later, we could see his card prices really start to go up a little bit. Again, as any player who gets traded, you likely see their card market start to jump. I just think there's a lot of excitement, though, right now in the market around the Oklahoma City Thunder. We see Chet Holmgren, Jalen Williams, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander on the top 10 trending for the last 30 days. So we're seeing a lot of people look at this young Oklahoma City Thunder team with a lot of expectations, not only for this year, but just for the future in general. And so, of course, we're seeing Chet Holmgren's cards, really start to see, they've been really hot this whole offseason, but I think recently we've started to see a lot more attention given, the Thunder's potential, not only this year to be a playoff team, but as I said, down the line with Shai, Jalen Williams, Chet Holmgren, you just have a lot of young talent on that team in Oklahoma City. So I think we're going to start to see prices really start to get really volatile around the Thunder. Now at this point, we've got to a point where Chet Holmgren's prices are sitting at very strong, promising numbers. His Prism base, of course, this is not a card that people really go after anymore, but, it has gone up from around $30 to around $70. It's the only card that, is selling well enough to really track the performance, but Chet Holmgren's market in general is up around 2x, and I think there's going to be a continued excitement around the Thunder if they perform. Little bit of risk when you're buying into young players at prices such as $2,000 for a Kaboom PSA 10. There's only a handful of young players whose Kabooms are going to be $2,000 in a PSA 10, and if Chet does not live up to it or gets injured again, you could see big drawbacks in his prices. So there is a lot of risk and upside in the Thunder right now. We're starting to see them all on the trending market, at least the stars on the Thunder. So there's a lot of upside. There's a lot of downside. It's just kind of a Wild West right now for the overall Oklahoma City Thunder market. But yeah, there are also, of course, some players who are falling in price. We're starting to see a lot of guys who were very hot over the offseason who maybe are not drawing as much hype as people thought so far, or maybe they're just cooling off because they were up so much. Some of those guys are, of course, Tyrese Halliburton, Cade Cunningham, Paulo, Benedict Mathurin. So these guys are, were super hot over the offseason, and we're starting to see a little bit of drawback in their prices, but overall, nothing super unnatural. Benedict's market is down quite a lot, which I think, it's kind of the crowdedness in the Pacers roster that I think has been costing, Benedict Mathurin's market. But I think overall there's a lot of good upside in his market still. I just think there's going to be ups and downs throughout the NBA season. There's, of course, a lot of money to be made throughout the season. You just have to really play it smart and get in and out of cards. If that's your strategy, right, to flip. But I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you enjoyed, go ahead, subscribe, like this video. Once again, follow us on Instagram at itskanalahuja. Like this video and subscribe if you want to enter into the giveaway for the box of 2023 Prism Draft Picks Collegiate Basketball. But other than that, I hope you all enjoyed, and I'm out.